Under threatening skies, fans were ready for this contest between high schools that are opposites in size. Millikan with an enrollment of 4,600 against St. Anthony's with an enrollment of 300. This game could have been billed David versus Goliath. Millikan coach Tony Peralta is pleased with his team's early season results, even though it hasn't been easy.
Well, we've gotten off to a good start, and we've played some tough football games. We haven't been in control of them until late. In both games we won, we were in the fourth quarter. And although you don't want to be in that situation, it's nice if you can pull it out at the end.
In the wake of an injury to Millikan's senior offensive leader, other Rams have stepped up to carry the load.
Stepping into his shoes has been our quarterback, and Berto Martinez, who's had an outstanding second half in both those football games, throwing for touchdowns to win the game. And Adam Sontag, setting a school record with a field goal and catching touchdown passes. It's just been phenomenal.
Millikan senior Adam Sontag, who recently kicked his school record 52-yard field goal, knew he was capable of that feat.
In practice, I've kicked 62 before, and I was pretty consistent with that, kicking 60 yards. But 652s, it's pretty good. But a real feat for me would be a 60-yard field goal.
Alberto Martinez knows the most challenging aspect of becoming the new starting quarterback.
Gaining the respect of my peers, because, if you don't have their respect, you're not going to accomplish anything. They've been taking care of what they have to do. I've been taking care of what I've got to do. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be in this position.
Sophomore running back Jason Leggett is a speedster who feels strongly that Millikan can play even better.
We have to just cooperate with each other, stop blaming each other, stop yelling, and take care of the ball. No fumbles, no interceptions, and pick it up on defense.
Coach Peralta has confidence in this year's young Ram squad.
They're growing week to week, and I think we're excited about their potential in the future. And if they be patient with their development, as we need to be as coaches, then we can keep this thing together and go into league strong.
Jeff Turley is St. Anthony's head coach. His assessment of this year's Saints.
It's looking real promising. We're still making a few little mistakes that we need to clear up, but every game we're getting a little bit better and a little bit better, and this team has great potential.
Coach Turley is sky high on some of his key players.
We got a young man, Adolfo Sarami, who transferred in from Paramount, and this kid has just been a stud for us in the middle. He was a blessing. Other than that, we got defensive line. A lot of the guys are playing offense. They come over there. Patrick Talauli, he's unblockable. You can't stop this kid. Once he gets his mind made up to get to somebody, he's going to get there.
St. Anthony's talented quarterback Eric Camarillo likens himself to another well-known quarterback.
Michael Vick. Michael Vick, man. He's my idol right now because he can scramble, he can throw, and he's just a sophomore too, and that reminded me of me last year.
Coach Turley is well aware of what it's going to take to upset the Rams.
We have to control the ball on offense. We have to be able to get out and get our running game going, be able to move the ball up and down the field, keep their offense off the field.
Everybody, my name is Willie Padilla, along with me, Errol Parker. We begin our third season on Ed. Sports, and of course for Errol and I, it's our 13th season together, so we have a very exciting start to our third season with Ed. TV. The Millikan Rams 2-0, a very soft 2-0 you could say, against the St. Anthony Saints, who invade Millikan High School for this matchup.
Millikan High School and St. Anthony's hadn't played in a while, and St. Anthony's really wanted this football game. They even scheduled it in January, but they come into this game 0-1-1. They tied last week 27-27. They have a fine junior quarterback, Willie, and Eric Camarillo, who runs the wishbone, but he scrambles and can throw on the dead run. He's pretty dangerous. But in order for the Saints to win this football game, they're going to have to keep the Millikan Rams back in their own territory, because Millikan has an outstanding field goal kicker we'll talk about a little later.
Indeed, when you talk about the Saints, they do run the wishbone attack, but they are not a run-only team. They do tend to pass the ball a little bit out of it, but they do need to run in order to defeat the Millikan Rams. And now let's talk about the Rams. They are 2-0, but a little bit of an upset in their game against the Warren Bears, and they had a tight one with Cabrillo last week.
They certainly have. When I went over to interview the coaching staff, you would think they would be jumping for joy at 2-0. They'll take 2-0, but they have not been executing very well. It was a miracle win in their opener against the Warren Bears, and then last week they had to come from behind against Cabrillo. So the coaching staff staff, they'll take 2-0, but they're not really happy. Adam Sontag is the guy who's kicking the field goals and making the extra points and kicking onside kicks. He's doing everything. In fact, he caught 2 touchdown passes to pull that game out against the Bears. But the 2-0 team is not really happy, but they have to play better tonight against St. Anthony.
What's the phrase I've heard? There's no such thing as winning ugly. Well, we've got it tonight. The St. Anthony Saints against the Millikan Rams. My name's Willie Padilla, along with me, Errol Parker, and the rest of our Ed Dodd sports team. Get set. The opening kickoff of our 3rd season together begins in just a moment. Hi, folks. Welcome to our Ed Dodd Sports Game of the Week, our season opener, but it is Game 3 for the high school teams. Millikan Rams getting set on their own soil to play their 3rd game of the season. They were actually at home the previous 2 weeks, although maybe not the designated home team, as Cabrillo plays their home games here at Millikan.
Yes, they're sharing with the Millikan Rams thus far, but they're building a 5,000-seat stadium over there in West Long Beach.
The head coaches for the 2 teams, for the St. Anthony Saints, head coach Jeff Turley, the Millikan Rams, Tony Peralta, who has done a fine job here at Millikan, and if anyone deserves a 2-0 start, it's Tony Peralta.
He certainly has. Last couple of years has been kind of tough for the Millikan Rams. Jeff Turley starting his 2nd year, Willie, as head coach at St. Anthony's.
The best, most positive thing I see for the Millikan Rams was from our first year when they had so few players to what Tony Peralta has done with this program. And, I mean, they've got all kinds of bodies now. And not just the young bodies on the JV and bringing up sophomores to pad the varsity roster. They have a lot of seniors on the roster. They have a lot of upperclassmen playing for them.
Yes, but they have a young offensive line, and they are not really pleased with the way this inexperienced offensive line has been performing. Tonight, they've had a good week of practice, and tonight, as we see them enter the field, they hope to do a better job and cut down on the number of penalties that they've received.
Now, we just saw Doug Stewart running on the field. Doug Stewart, a familiar name here at Millikan High School for years and years. Big Doug Stewart has been one of the key figures here on the campus.
He was an assistant coach for several years. Now he's an assistant principal. He hails from the San Francisco, California area.
More league standings look like this. A lot of 2-0s up there. Pauley, Lakewood, Jordan, and Millikan, all 2-0. Jordan, a little bit of a surprise, having played a tough Dominguez team that had defeated Bishop Amat the week before. They're 2-0. Millikan, as we mentioned earlier, 2-0. Lakewood, they've also played Cabrillo. They defeated Mayfair, a team that is a perennial Division 6 power, Division 7 power. And, of course, Pauley, 2-0. Wilson, a surprise at 0-2.
Yes, they got pounded by Peninsula, but that game was a lot closer than people might indicate. Peninsula just wore them down in the 4th quarter.
But, of course, the important word in that whole page was preseason. Now, we're taking a look at the preseason picks, and neither one of us should be held to these.
They're going to hold. Ray Sharp is going to hold both of us to that. I think that the Wilson Bruins and the Jordan Panthers should be flip-flop, but those are my picks. The Jordan Panthers are 0-2. The Wilson Bruins are 0-2. The Jordan Panthers are 2-0.
Now, looking at your picks, Wilson High School, and look at mine, I have Wilson at 2nd place. They annually have a poor preseason record, but always seem to do well when the Moore League season rolls around. So Wilson and Jordan at 2nd and 3rd, you could flip-flop them. I think Pauley's still going to be in 1st place. Lakewood and Millikan will be vying, I think, with Wilson probably. Remember, he made us make these picks in August, so.
Well, I think you grossly misunderstood what Lakewood's going to do. I think Lakewood's going to be a fine football team, Willie, as the mistake that I made, of course, with Jordan. I think they're going to probably be a playoff team. But we're going to hold those choices to ourselves, even though it's broadcasted.
I don't know what Ray Sharp had us thinking about. But Russ Finley, our umpire, or our referee, rather, head referee, umpire, of course, the head man in another sport, is doing the coin toss in the center of the field between the captains of the St. Anthony Saints and the Millikan Rams. The St. Anthony Saints have not been on our broadcast schedule, Errol, since we were working for some other guys about 12 years ago. They played St. Genevieve, and what a great game that was. They pulled a hook and ladder at the end of the first half that turned into a touchdown. they sparkled that game.
They certainly did. Remember Garnett Oversby?
Garnett
He
Overby,
injured
yeah.
his hip in that game, and he went on to play at Nevada Reno as a free safety. But that was 1989 when we first had, at least you and I, broadcast that St. Anthony football game.
Under the glow of the yellow lights, Clark
Field.
Take a look at our broadcast schedule. This is our evening schedule on Ed.TV. Monday, Ed. News at 6 p.m., followed by Ed. Sports at 6:30. Tuesday nights, more Ed. News, followed by The Forum. On Wednesdays, Ed. News and Ed. Sports. Thursdays, Ed. News and special programming. You can catch those on Long Beach and Lakewood Cable. Long Beach, you can see the numbers there. Long Beach and Signal Hill 66, 77 in Avalon, and 63 in Lakewood.
I think it's simply outstanding that we will be on in the evening when the students can see it. In the couple of years past, we were on in the afternoon. We'll probably get more promotion and more viewers that way.
Well, it was a PG-13 kind of audience, I guess, with our broadcast, as they weren't letting the kids see it, but now moving us in the evenings.
Yes, in the general audience capacity. This should be a fine game, Willie. When I went over to St. Anthony's to interview the coaching staff, they're fired up about this football game. They want some respect in Long Beach, and this is an opportunity that they have to play the Millikan Rams, a Division I team in the Moore League. The St. Anthony Saints have been pointing to this game for some time.
Jason Leggett and Dante Vaughn already back to receive, still awaiting the St. Anthony Saints to get on the field for the opening kickoff.
Jason Leggett caught a TD pass for 78 yards against Cabrillo last week. He's a good one.
Now, Dante Vaughn had earned the quarterback spot, the starting quarterback spot, in spring
in the summer, and he
summer.
has started all games, but Martinez has come in relief and has led the Rams to victories, 2 straight victories.
And Martinez finds himself climbing the quarterback rankings in the Southern California, or at least this local area, as rated by the local Long Beach Press-Telegram.
Martinez, 2 touchdown passes last week, 51 yards.
Joe Villanueva, left-footed kicker, puts his foot into it. It's booted to the 15-yard line, taken by Doug Stewart. And Stewart's still on his feet past the 30. On his feet, driven out of bounds at the 37-yard line. That's where the Rams will begin this possession.
Well, Doug Stewart kept those legs going like any running back will do, and he picked up more yardage. Poor tackling by the St. Anthony Saints.
Jason Bedford, first tackle.
Tackle made by Bedford.
Jason Bedford made the tackle there.
At the bottom of that pile, and then got a little little hand action from Stewart. First down and 10, spotted at the 39-yard line. The give goes to Acosta. Acosta still on his feet. First down yardage, then he fumbles, but it appears the Rams got it back. It was Tyler Thomas, I believe, who got it for an additional 3 yards.
Now, the St. Anthony Saints have not been tackling well for the first 2 games. It's displayed again today where they're tackling up high and they're not wrapping. As a result, the Rams running backs are getting extra yardage.
So Acosta fumbles, but it was recovered by Tyler Thomas. As we take a look at the Rams offensively, Leggett in the backfield with Martinez, the quarterback. Sontag, wide receiver. Also in the backfield is Jong. Martin Acosta, also a half. Tyler Thomas at guard. Julian Diaz at tackle. Asensio at right tackle. Stephen Gardner, the center. We'll get to the rest in a moment. Flags down. Football came loose, but it is whistled dead. That usually means that it was on the offense before the snap, and that is the call.
The Rams are employing a double wing T set offensively. Now, that's a little departure from their veer as we see them employing that here, and they call a legal procedure apparently against the Rams.
Well, apparently the center didn't get the snap call because everyone was in motion and the ball didn't come up to the quarterback, Martinez.
Alberto Martinez is the quarterback. He's a good one.
Second down and 15 for the Rams. They've got 1 first down on the run by Acosta. The give goes to Leggett. Leggett on his feet to the original line of scrimmage.
Coach Danny Wiseman, the offensive line coach for the St. Anthony's, for the Millikan Rams, is not satisfied with the blocking scheme or the blocking assignments or the blocking execution of his Rams offensive line. He hopes they will improve today.
Leggett, a pickup of 5.
It's an aggressive defensive line for the Saints. They got 10 sacks last week against Brethren Christian.
2nd down and 10. The give goes to Acosta. Acosta cannot break the tackle at the line of scrimmage with the tackle number 55.
Patrick Taliuli.
Okay.
His brother Junior plays for Poly High School as a starting offensive linebacker. I mean, outside linebacker.
Taliuli, who wears, I guess, 95 at home, 55 on the road. 2 numbers on the roster. But he's wearing 55 tonight, so Taliuli with the tackle. A loss of a yard. Pass. It is complete for a 1st down yardage. The pass caught by Ken Niesinger. Good for a 1st down. They needed about 11. They got 12.
Martinez was under great duress, Willie. He got that pass off, almost got sacked. It was like a dead duck, but Niesinger got up under the ball and caught it. Couldn't get up and run because in high school, once you hit your knee hits the ground, you got to stay there.
1st and 10 from the 35. It's Acosta. Acosta pushes out of the way one of his blockers. He pushed Niesinger out of the way and then got wrapped up after a pickup of 5.
Now, this double wing T can really confuse a defense. As you noticed that many Saints were trying to grab at air, and Acosta went the other way. You got to really watch the guards as they pull. If not, you're peeking in the backfield, and you can be fooled by the misdirection.
Acosta, 3 carries, 14 yards. Misdirection. Leggett has it. Leggett gets to the 20 before finally being driven down. That's another 1st down.
Eric Camarillo made the tackle on that play. He is the quarterback. He's coming from his free safety position.
Pickup of 13 on the play for Leggett.
Leggett is taking the place of Paul Ear, a 3-year starter that is sustaining a knee injury.
Give goes inside to Lee Zhang, and Zhang picks up some short yardage, getting it near the 15-yard line. He picked up a couple.
This is a strong drive by the Millikan Rams. They almost lost it when they fumbled on the first play, but they recovered their own fumble. This drive started on about the, 35-40, Willie?
Started at the 39, actually. And it's also a time-consuming drive as they're about 3.5 minutes into this drive. They've driven all the way to the 15-yard line. 2nd down and 9, a pickup of just 1 for Zhang. In motion is Acosta. Acosta gets the football, cuts back, gets tackled after he crosses the 15-yard line, but he's able to drive forward to about the 11. Tackle made
by Daniel Warden. Danny is a fine defensive end. He got 3 sacks last week against Brethren Christian. He comes up with a nice tackle that time. One of the good things, Willie, about a quarterback on the double wing T is the ball fakes. He turns his back to the offensive line, and if he can do the hand jive real good, he can really confuse defensive linemen.
3rd down and 3. 2nd time the Rams have faced 3rd down situation. They passed the last time. The give instead goes to Leggett. He's got a 1st down inside the 5, driving down to about the 3.
This is an impressive drive, as you said, Willie. I think the Millikan High School coaching staff must be pleased with the blocking of the offensive line and the running of their running backs at this point. Offensive coordinator Kirk Diego is up here, and he's not screaming, so he must be happy.
7:18 left in the 1st quarter. The give goes to Acosta, and Acosta driven down with a loss of 5. Nice play in the backfield for St. Anthony.
It looked like number 65, Gregorio Grant.
Well, let's take a look at the defense for the Saints. Camarillo, Green, Bedford, San Miguel, Watson, Warden, Sarami, Gandia, Gregorio, Davis, and Taliulua. The give to Leggett. Leggett's in. Touchdown. 8-yard touchdown run for Jason Leggett.
A tremendous block by Martin Ossie to spring Leggett.
Taking a look at the touchdown run again.
Watch that block by Ossie. He just pancaked somebody over there.
Pretty much the entire St. Anthony line was over there underneath the
And Leggett went in untouched. So the
8-yard touchdown run for Leggett. The point after attempt coming up. 2-point conversion attempt. Pass in the end zone to Acosta. It's good, and it's 8-0 in favor of the Rams.
Well, the St. Anthony Saints wanted the Millikan Rams in the worst way. They scheduled this game in January, and the first time the Rams got their hands on the football, they marched 65 yards for the touchdown, Willie.
Be careful what you wish for.
You might just get it.
That's right. 31 yards rushing for Jason Leggett on that touchdown drive, and he does score on the 8-yard touchdown run. We'll be right back. 8-0 in favor of the Rams. Forum, and you'll find some of the most stimulating people in our community discussing the issues which are important to us all. Every Tuesday evening at 6:30 right here on ed.tv.
And Willie, what about that web page?
Glad you asked. The Forum has its own website with even more information about the show. You can find it at www.lbusd.k12.ca.us/oms/forum.htm. Check it out today. A touchback on the kickoff. Adam Sontag with the leg.
And he did that all last week. He did not allow the opponents to return a kickoff. He kicked it in the end zone every single time last week.
We've seen in different years other kids who their leg provides quite an offensive weapon for teams. As we take a look at the St. Anthony Saints offense, Camarillo at quarterback, Green running back, Francisco Torres at another running back. Wide receiver is Watson, Gandia at tight end. It's Sarami, Gandia, Gonzalez, Gregorio Davis, and Taliuli. First down and 10 for the Saints. Down 8-0, their first chance with the football after the Rams held on to it fairly well for this first half of this first quarter.
Now
carrying the football was Adelfo Sarami.
Now the Saints starts off with a one-man backfield. They usually employ the wishbone offense, but they mixed it up a little bit, at least on that first play.
And they come out in a hurry-up offense after a pickup of 4 by Sarami. And there's movement. Who went first? I'm sure the Rams are pointing at the Saints. It may be on offensive left tackle number 65, Grant Gregorio. See dead ball foul. They've got it on the Saints. Loss of 5 after the pickup of 4 by Sarami.
In the third week of the league of the season, most coaches pretty much know what they have. They're just trying to improve upon what they have, and that's what both of these teams are trying to do tonight.
Give goes to Francisco Torres. Torres gets back to where Sarami had gotten, and it'll bring up a third down. Actually, it should only be second down. Actually, no, it is third down.
Another hurry-up offense by the Saints, but the referee will call the timeout.
Take a look at that one again, and also great work back in the truck. As we now have the advantage of 2 angles.
On our slow-mo camera, that should add features to there's the second angle.
That's right. Watching the same play from 2 different angles. It is scary. This is the Rams defense as we're waiting for the ball to be ready for play. Algarin, Stewart, Vaughn, Kim, Uloa, Christensen, Diaz, Asensio, Iseri, Flynn, and Navarez as they're ready for play. Got that out just in the nick of time. Pickup of 8 by Torres on that last run. Pass play, going deep. The ball begins to flutter. It's going to be, or should have been picked off, rather by Diego Algarin, but the ball was too short even for him to stop and get to. So the pass falls incomplete, and it'll bring up 4th down. And very inauspicious start for the Saints after the Rams are able to hold on to the football for 5.5 minutes. Last thing you want to do is give it up in 1 minute.
That's certainly true, Willie, and the Saints are already down by 8 points here early or midway through the first quarter, and now they'll have to punt the ball away.
Although the Saints did pick up 12 yards on the ground, there was that 5-yard motion penalty that basically killed that drive, and a third play that fell incomplete. So it is a punting situation. Back to punt is the quarterback, Camarillo, which always adds some interest to what exactly he's going to do. But in this situation, you got to figure he's getting rid of the ball. Good kick by Camarillo, fielded by Leggett. Leggett across midfield, still on his feet, driven down at the 41-yard line.
Danny Warden comes up with another tackle there. Leggett gets the Rams in good field position. And, you know, they don't need much field position, Willie, with the leg of Adam Sontag. He has kicked a record 52-yard field goal, which is a Millikan High School record. He tried a 54-yard field goal last week and then went wide right.
When they say it's wide right, that means it was long enough.
It was long enough, just was a little misdirected. But there's a penalty here.
A penalty on the return against the Rams, clipping. So the return to the 41-yard line of the Saints will be nullified and brought back to the Rams' own 40-yard line. Still not terrible field position for the Rams. They'll get it first down and 10 from their own 40. In motion is Acosta. The give goes to Acosta, or to Leggett. Leggett still on his feet, finally down across midfield at the 46. Great misdirection. I lost who had the football.
That's the beauty of the double wing T. Now, Coach Jeff Turley said he will be facing several wing T offenses this year. He faced one with Brethren Christian, but they have not been able to figure that out as we see the replay.
Clock ticking, 4:52 left, first quarter. Give goes to Acosta. Acosta trying to break free at the line of scrimmage, gets brought down on a nice play by number 54, Jason Gandia. And that's just a pickup of 1, second down and 9 coming up. Six carries for only 15 yards for Acosta, 5 carries for Leggett for 46 yards. Second down, 9. In motion is Leggett. Drop back, getting hit as he throws, and the pass is complete to the 10. Driven out of bounds is number 34, Sean Kelly. Nice completion by Alberto Martinez as he got hit just as he threw the football.
Jonathan Watson made a touchdown-saving tackle for the Saints, but Alberto Martinez, again, Willie, was almost in the grass, almost about to get sacked. Threw an ugly-looking pass because it took forever to come down, but it was a completed pass, which is setting the Rams up deep in Saints territory.
How about the Rams passing offense? 2 for 2 for 46 yards. The give goes to Leggett. He's got a second touchdown. 10-yard run for Leggett. He now has 56 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns.
Well, the Saints have scored, the Rams have scored both times they've had the football on long drives. And this time it didn't take as much time as the first time.
Well, again, it is this point after attempt with this odd configuration. You've got Martinez all by himself. He takes the snap. It looks like he's going to run for it and not going to make it. This worked for a 2-point conversion to Acosta last time. This time it does not work. 4:03 left in the first quarter. 14-0 in favor of the Rams.
Well, the Rams have not been able to, the Saints have not been able to figure out the misdirection double wing T offense of the Millikan Rams, Willie. And until they figure it out, it's going to be a long evening.
We'll be right back. More coverage in a moment. 14-0 in favor of the Rams. Hi, folks. Welcome back to Red Dot Sports Game of the Week. 14-0 in favor of the Rams. They've got this kickoff, and we will go down to an interview in just a moment after this kickoff. Sontag again drills it, and it hits right on the goal line into the end zone for a touchback. Let's go down for our first interview of the 2000 season. Okay, well, it's a great start. We've got our first interview started, and we'll get it going in just a moment. Make sure that that microphone is on, using all the latest technology. As the Saints come out, first down and 10 from the 20-yard line. Not much field position for them to work with thus far. They've only had the football once. They were 3 and out. Shotgun formation. Camarillo throwing the football, hits on the pass complete, picks up about 8 before being brought down is Jonathan Watson.
Well, the Saints start with the shotgun this time.
Testing, 1,
and
2.
we've seen 3 different formations that the St. Anthony Saints have employed thus far this evening, and this was by far the most productive. Connection with Camarillo and Watson.
Camarillo 1 out of 2 for 8 yards passing. Again out of the shotgun. Well, this is not what you expect out of a wishbone attack, as Camarillo buying some time. He'll throw the football into coverage and the pass falls incomplete. He was intending it for Brandon Green, but I'll tell you what, had he run that football, he might have had a better chance of getting a first down. Let's go ahead and go back down for that interview now.
Hi, we're here with Millikan principal Dan Voidovich. Mr. Voidovich, can you tell us what is in store for this Millikan Rams football season this year?
Well, as with any high school football season, you never really know. We know it will be exciting. We're 2-0 right now. We have some tough competition coming up, not that we haven't had thus far, but when we get into the Moore League, we're positive. We think we've got some caliber people. It's a matter of doing what they've been taught to do.
You think Millikan's going to go for CIF this year?
That's always one of our goals. It's hard to predict at this time. High school football is an interesting thing to try to predict.
Well, thank you, Mr. Voidovich. Will and Errol, back to you.
17-yard run while we were away by Camarillo as he calls his own number and is able to run for a first down. Take a look at it again. Nice run by Camarillo. Once he saw that opening, he knew he can get the first down and ran for a whole lot more. Back to live action. Camarillo's pass is tipped at the line, but nobody knew where it was at in terms of the Rams' defensive linemen. So the pass falls incomplete.
Well, looks like it was tipped by number 73 for the Rams, Kevin Asiri. And it was going to be a completed pass if it had been executed.
Second down and 10 as, again, the Saints staying in a hurry-up. You know, it's not so much a hurry-up, but a keep the defense on the field kind of offense. Once they set at the line, the Saints kind of slow down and set themselves offensively. Camarillo again running the football, still on his feet, to the 30. Staying in bounds, he's down at the 27-yard line.
Now that is a weapon that a defense cannot contain. Eric Camarillo faking like he's going to throw, but all the time he's going to run. He eludes a couple of tacklers, a couple of would-be tacklers, and picks up big yardage. That was probably a gain of about 35 yards.
How many did you guess?
I guessed about 35.
29.
29 off 6.
29, he's now 46 yards rushing. Great work from our field camera as he's able to stay with Eric Camarillo, unlike the Rams defense.
Our Ed Dot Sports cameras catch all the action everywhere.
And if you don't believe it, just listen to Ray Sharp.
Yes.
He'll tell you. There's a timeout on the field as the Rams were getting backed up a little bit on their heels.
Well, the Rams are. They know Eric Camarillo is a scrambler, but you have to stay with your if you're a defensive back and linebackers, you have to stay with those receivers that's going out. Eric can see the field better than anyone else, and he decides he's going to tuck that ball under and start running, and that's something you can't account for. And he's trying to bring the Saints back into this ball game.
So how important do you think it is that the Rams prepared all week for a wishbone attack, and then here they are going out of the shotgun with nobody in the backfield with the quarterback Camarillo, and that's where their offense is starting to work. Camarillo looking for somebody, has a man, complete to the 20. Driving for first down yardage is Alicio Torres, as Torres is able to pick up 12.
Alicio Torres is picking up big and important yardage for the Saints.
That was a run from a moment ago, as Camarillo now 2 out of 4 passing for 20 yards, but that one was good for first down yardage. The football now at the 15-yard line. Again out of the shotgun. Camarillo trying to pick his spots, starting to sense a little bit of trouble. He rolls to his left, has speed to get away from the Millikan defense gets hit, stays on his feet, finally driven down at the 7-yard line on a fine play by Dante Vaughn, but still a pickup of 8.
And a lot of kudos should go to the offensive line, Willie, of the Saints. They are giving Camarillo enough time to look over the field as he rolls to his left, acts like he's going to throw with the right hand, and breaks 2 tackles and gets extra yardage. That's something the Millikan Rams have tried to prepare themselves for, but they're not doing a good job of it thus far.
How about Camarillo, who's not going down very easily? You saw one of the Rams would-be tacklers fall right off of him. Another timeout on the field. Take a look at our Ed Dodd Sports evening hours. It's a special thing that we've started. Mondays and Wednesdays, 6:30 p.m. is now the kids can even watch us. 6:30 p.m., Channel 66 in Long Beach and Signal Hill, 63 in Lakewood, and 77 in Avalon. We're available all over. Check it out. 2:05 left in the first quarter. It had been all Millikan up until this drive by St. Anthony.
Eric Camarillo has engineered this drive. He's just a junior, Willie, and he's also played strong safety. He was a first-team All-League and All-City and All-CIF last year, and we can see why.
Well, the Saints need to get points since they're all the way down here. 2nd down and 2. Camarillo again out of the shotgun. He has been out of the shotgun exclusively during this entire drive, and it's been working well. He throws the football, and it looked like he was beyond the line of scrimmage. But there was no call, no flag, and the pass ball is incomplete. But from my angle, it looked like he was across the line of scrimmage, and that would have made it an illegal forward pass.
Alicio Torres had the ball within grasp. Actually, Camarillo could have ran that ball for yardage and maybe even ran it in for the touchdown, but he chose to throw it.
Unfortunately, we did not get it on our multiple replays, as that'll bring up 3rd down and 2. The Saints have to be looking at getting a first down as the ball is dropped by Camarillo. Still has control, running, he's got a first down, and he's got a score, touchdown.
Well, that's what he could have done the last play, but he decided to throw it to Torres, and it was incomplete, and it takes matters in his own hands, and the Rams are going to have to figure out how they're going to try to contain Camarillo. He's got themselves, the Saints, back in this ballgame.
Camarillo has been the lone offense for the Saints, as he has run for 62 yards and passed for another 20, and that has been it offensively for the Saints, and all of that on this drive.
Well, the Saints are doing what they have to do. He's their #1 offensive weapon. It seems as though they have abandoned the wishbone as we look at the last touchdown run by Camarillo. 78 yards he achieved last week.
Well, what it appears that they're doing is they're spreading the offensive line and allowing him to pick his spots. If he can run the football, fine. If he can throw it, fine. Whatever he can do. Another odd line set for the point after. As the shift, the entire offensive line will move into place. Do not be surprised what happens out of this mix. And point after, all that shifting and blocking didn't help, as the Rams pour right through the offensive line and block the kick, and it is 14-6 in favor of the Rams.
Well, both teams have a lot to figure out from a defensive standpoint. The Rams will have to figure out how they can contain Eric Camarillo as we look at the attempted point after touchdown. And it looked like number 42 of the Rams, if my eyes...
Looked like a sieve is what it looked like.
Yeah. I don't think there's a 42 on the Rams roster, but that PAT was blocked.
62 is according to the spotter for our public address announcer.
And that's Julio Asensio.
Hey, you're handling those Hispanic names much better.
I practice and practice and practice all during the off season. I should get it right this year.
Took you 10 years for Padilla.
Yeah, that's true.
1:52 left in the first quarter. The Saints are on the board, 14-6. They trail it as the Rams will receive the kick from Joe Villanueva. Taken by Dante Vaughn. He goes full speed into the blocking wedge and is finally brought down at about the 38-yard line. And again, the Rams start with pretty good field position.
They certainly do. Dante Vaughn is the backup quarterback. As we see the kickoff return again, he goes right in the wedge. Gets some pretty good blocks, but it breaks one tackle, and is pretty good field position now on the 38 or 37-yard line for the Rams.
We'll call it the 38, 1st down and 10 for the Rams. They have yet to be stopped by the Saints defense. The give goes to Acosta. Acosta picks a nice hole. He's got 10. He's got 11. As he gets it to midfield, we'll call it a 12-yard pickup for Martin Acosta.
Eric Camarillo coming again from a strong safety position, willing to bring that arm tackle down, and he's made about 4 tackles thus far in this first quarter.
I tell you what, Eric Camarillo better filled up the tank on his way here because he's got a long ball game playing both offense and defense.
Look at the ball fakes by Martinez, really good in the pulling guards by the Rams.
Back to live action. The give goes to Leggett. Leggett's got 2 touchdowns in the ball game. He's got a big hole. Sweeps by one would-be tackler. It's a foot race, and Leggett's going to win it 50 yards, touchdown. The 3rd touchdown of the first quarter for Jason Leggett. He now has 106 yards rushing. This first quarter has been a show for Jason Leggett.
Well, and it's been poor tackling. That time, the Saints were not as fooled as they had been earlier in the quarter, but they just missed the tackles. Nice cutback, slash type of runner is Leggett, and he wiggled his way into the end zone.
Well, you know, they've got a tee out there for Alberto Martinez, and Martinez looks like they haven't even thrown him or given him a play. The snap, Martinez throws for the back of the end zone. Got a man, 2-pointers good. That tee's out there for show because they haven't tried to kick it once. Well, if you can try 2-pointers and make them 2 out of 3 times, hey, you're 1 point ahead.
2 points is better than 1.
Hey, that's good math, Errol.
Yeah, I've been studying all summer as I've been with the names, and it adds up for me.
22-6 in favor of the Rams. Back with more in a moment. Hi, folks. Welcome back to our Red Sports Game of the Week. Before we go back to the action, we were going to tell you all about that homework hotline. Here comes a kick from Sontag. And it bounces just shy of the goal line and doesn't go in, or did it?
It looked like Russ Finley, the referee down there, said it did go in.
Well, it looked like the player took it in under his own accord, and you can't do that. Let's see. But the force of the kick didn't take it into the end zone. The player took it into the end zone. Watch here. The player backed up into that end zone. You can't do that. But it looked like it may have been right on the line. See, right there, it's short of the line. Camarillo going up top, down the sideline, incomplete. His pass was intended for Brandon Green.
Nice effort by Brandon Green. Nice throw by Camarillo. He had the defensive back, the cornerback beat on that play. Beautiful spiral. And he stretches out and just misses the pass.
Camarillo again out of the shotgun. Camarillo running the football, will get to the line of scrimmage and then be driven down. 0 gain. He may have lost a yard.
Well, this probably is something that the Rams couldn't really prepare for. They were looking for the wishbone, but they knew that Camarillo was a scrambler. And he has done that expertly here in the first quarter.
A loss of a yard for Camarillo, again out of the shotgun, waiting for his receiver to get open, and his receiver never went downfield. He was trying to get it to Francisco Torres, and Torres was caught in a little wrestling match down the sideline with the Millikan defense.
With Martin Acosta, who stopped him out there. They collided on about the 30-yard line, and Camarillo expected Torres to continue his pass route, but he was prevented. No interference call on that play, nor probably should have been one.
Camarillo now just 2 of 7 for 20 yards. Camarillo to punt. From deep in his own territory. Heavy rush, and Acosta tried to get a piece of it, but with that line drive kick, a great bounce for the St. Anthony Saints, as that kick will roll to the 23-yard line That makes it a kick of, and I'll do the quick math, of 58 yards.
Well, I don't know why Jason Leggett didn't field the ball. He had enough room between him and the would-be tacklers, but he chose to let the ball bounce, and it bounced another 20 yards.
Right, a 38-yard kick becomes a 58-yard kick because it wasn't fielded. So it'll be first down and 10 for the Rams. They've had it 3 times, have scored 3 times. 15.4 left in the first quarter. We are just about at the end of the first quarter. That has been all Rams. There was a flicker of hope for the Saints as they drove for a touchdown. As the give goes to Leggett. Leggett gets 8.
Not bad to pick up 8 yards on first down. And the Saints still have not figured out how to contain the double wing T. Albert Martinez, Willie, is really doing well with the ball fakes and fooling the linebackers and linemen for the St. Anthony Saints.
We've reached the end of the first quarter as the Millikan Rams have jumped out to a 22-6 lead here over St. Anthony. My name is Willie Padilla, along with me, Errol Parker. Stay with us. More coverage coming up in a moment.
Willie, don't you wish there had been a homework helpline when we were growing up?
I sure do. It's a great opportunity for these kids to get help with their studies. Be sure to call 437-2859 for help with your homework.
Not yours, though.
Not my homework.
Your kids' homework. You got kids that need homework.
That's right. I've got a son that goes to Cubberley and my daughter goes to Newcomb Academy.
And the one from Cubberley is around here creating havoc someplace. We don't even know where he is now.
Yeah, he's down over at about the 20-yard line. As Acosta with the football, trying to turn the corner. And a flag comes down at the tail end of that play. You know, they ended up giving 10 yards on that last play and a first down to the Rams, so it was first down and 10.
The Rams coaching staff have to be pleased at this point with 22 points and good blocking on the part of the Rams. The 38 points total in this first quarter has really been a track meet.
A 3-yard pickup for Acosta, then a personal foul at the end of the play for an additional 15. So give Acosta 3. Let's see if we can see the foul. You got him out of bounds there.
Well, we were blocked out.
Well, we were blocked out on that camera angle. Let's see if
we have another one.
Okay, that was it. Okay, first down and 10. Give going to Zhang. Zhang trying to get in on the action. And Zhang picks up 7. Lee Zhang now with 9 yards on 2 carries. Check out the rushing totals. Leggett, 8 carries for 116 yards. Zhang, this is his second carry. He picks up 7 here.
Look at the pulling guards on this play. Just a straight blast play. And the Saints didn't really know where that ball was until the linebackers came up and made the tackle.
We'll downgrade that to a pickup of 6 for Zhang as motion for Leggett and flags as the Rams saying that the Saints win off sides, but I've got a feeling it's going to be against the Rams, and it is, as Asencia decided to start on his own count.
Well, this offensive unit has done a pretty good job thus far, and we're talking about Roland Kirkney, Martin Assi, Tyler Thomas, who's a sophomore, Julio Asencio, the right tackle, and Julian Diaz, the left tackle.
Now, we know how difficult it is to teach this kind of offense to underclass linemen, but I'll tell you what, these guys are performing it quite well against the Saints, and, you know, you perform it well against any team, you're doing all right. After the 5-yard loss on the penalty, big pickup for Zhang as he picks up 13 on the play. So first down for the Rams. Zhang now with 21 yards rushing. Football at the 37. The give goes to Acosta, and Acosta gets to the 29, make it the 28, a pickup of 9.
There are 3 teams in the Moore League that employ the double wing T or some form of the wing T offense. Jordan will employ it this year. The Rams this year, of course, the architect of it was the Wilson Bruins, who have employed it the last several years. As we look at
that was Acosta. Here goes Zhang. Zhang still on his feet. Zhang to the 5. Pickup of 24 for Zhang.
The Rams are almost seem like they're playing by themselves out there. They are running straight up the gut on the Saints. They're getting good blocks from the guys up front, and it is taking touchdown-saving tackles by the safeties in order for the Rams not to just walk in the end zone.
Zhang with 45 yards rushing on 4 carries, 118 on 8 carries for Leggett, 39 on 9 carries for Acosta. And it is Acosta. Acosta, touchdown.
Well, the Rams are making it look real simple, Willie, as we see the replay here. Here's the pulling guards, number 71, Martin Ossie, leading the block. Along with his friends, there's number 65 for the Rams, and that is Andre Davis, who's in there at offensive tackle.
Hey, look at the Rams. They're going to kick. Haven't seen that yet after their first 3 touchdowns, but apparently they will here in Sontag to try the point after. Kick is up. It is good, and it would have been good from about
Spring Street.
From Wardlow or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever's down there, Willow.
Yes, Willow. Adam Sontag pulled off a miracle in that game against the Warren Bears, and he's continuing to kick. Well, he has to be one of the best place kickers in all of CIF.
We'll take a break. Back with more in a moment. Sports Game of the Week. My name is Willie Padilla, along with me, Errol Parker, the rest of our Ed Dot Sports team, headed up by our producer-director, Ray Sharp. Sontag's kick is almost through the uprights. Yikes.
Continuing this discourse I've started on Sontag, here's a guy that kicked a field goal in that win against the Bears. Both the PATs, all the PATs he accounted for, as well as come on the receiving end of the pass by Martinez. 2 touchdown passes by Martinez, all within 1 minute. I would have liked that to happen to me in high school.
29-6 in favor of the Rams, and there's still 9:54 left in the second quarter. The Saints gotten a lot more than they expected, and I'm sure a lot more than they wanted.
Well, they wanted these Rams in the worst way.
Give for a short pickup on 1st and 10. Carrying the football was Brandon Green. Green a pickup of 4. First carry for Green. 2nd down and 6.
Surprised to see him going under center.
Camarillo, the last 2 drives, has been out of the shotgun. The give for no pickup goes to Francisco Torres.
Well, we expected the Saints to run the football because the Rams have not been good against the run all season. They have given up over 500 yards in the first 2 games. Now, the Saints employed the wishbone, but then they went to a spread offense. Now, as we see the blast by the Saints, and it was a nice tackle by number 60, it looks like.
It was
Lance Mixon. No, it's not if you're asking the question if it was the brother of Tyron Mixon, no, this is a different Mixon. And who asked that question?
That would be Ray Sharp. Who else? Camarillo to run it. He's got a first down on his feet for a pickup of an extra 5, so he picks up 10.
Well, it seems that the Saints do a better job offensively when Camarillo is running the football or acting like he's going to run it, or throwing it on the dead run. When they go to the wishbone, they pick up meager yardage. The Rams have shored up their rushing defense from the previous 2 weeks, and they're not giving up very much on the run.
71 yards rushing now for Camarillo. 8:13 left second quarter. As the give going to Alicio Torres. Torres gets drilled after a pickup of just a couple.
Nice block out there by Francisco Torres to at least get the help his teammate get a couple of yards.
That's the tail end of that play where Torres picks up 3.
Francisco, of course, has his brother on the team, Alicio Torres, who is also a tailback.
Second down and 7 for the Saints, who trail in this one by 23. Camarillo to pass, but he's in trouble. Gets away from that trouble, at least momentarily. They've got him boxed in, and then he throws it away. Now, I know he was outside of the box, but in high school football, I don't think they have that. You can run out of the box and not get a intentional grounding, but indeed, Camarillo gets away with it. Camarillo, now 2 out of 8 passing for 20 yards.
Good pass defense that time by the secondary of the Rams. There was just nobody open, and he had nowhere to run. He sounds like the Martha and Vandellis record, nowhere to hide. Of course, Willie, you're a little bit too young to remember Martha and Vandellis.
I listened to him on those oldie stations.
Oldies
My
but
dad
goodies.
used to listen to.
That's right.
7:15 left in first half. As the Saints aren't marching anywhere thus far in this ball game. Camarillo to pass, now to run, and picks up 3, but far short of a first down.
Now, he had a man open, number 22, who was breaking on the inside for the Saints. I think it was 22. We don't have a 22 here, but he was open in the middle of the field, but Camarillo decided to tuck the ball in and decided to run.
I see 22 coming off the field, so I agree that there must have been somebody open. So Camarillo will punt now. Camarillo's going to run it on 4th and 4, and he's going to get the first down. So a gamble by the Saints, and it works.
Well, it was just about time. I figured that was going to happen sooner or later. They're going to have to do something to keep this football out of the hands of the Millikan Rams, and that time it was a fake punt by Camarillo, and you know that this guy is going to have to do that from time to time, and he picks up a very important first down with about 6 minutes to play here in the second quarter.
Thus far in the ball game, the Rams have dominated. The Saints have shown flickers of hope, but their offense has not been very consistent at all.
It's been one-dimensional. It's been Eric Camarillo the whole time.
Not a bad dimension, but you know that they've got to come up with something else. As the pitch goes to Torres, and no pickup on the play. They'll give him a gain of 2.
His brother, Alicio Torres, made a nice initial block to spring his other brother, Francisco, to pick up a couple of yards.
And there's a flag down, a face mask against the Rams.
And talking to Kirk Diego the other day, the offensive coordinator, he was just really fuming over the number of penalties that the Rams have had in the first couple of games. They just picked up another one. So far, it hasn't been really out of control. That's about the second or third penalty that the Rams have had.
Just a 5-yard penalty, as it is not the personal foul variety. So it's second down and about 3 for the Saints. Camarillo looking, then he throws it just forward, intended for Alicio Torres, but that was very close to being a lateral and a live football. Not that it would have been live long, because I think the ball rolled right out of bounds. So that'll bring up 4th down in a punting situation again.
Well, the Rams better watch out. They were 3rd and about 4 the last time, and Eric Camarillo ran for the first down. They'll be wary of that this time.
It'll bring up 3rd down and 3.
You're throwing me off, Willie. You're throwing me off. I need to look at the scoreboard.
You know, this game's got to have a lot of meaning for Dave Radford. Not only is his son on the field for the Rams, but he used to coach at both these schools.
Absolutely, and he coached a couple of he coached Coach Jeff Turley as well, and the Millikan coach Tony Peralta here at Millikan.
First down yardage. If we can take a look at that play again.
We're looking at number 53, Roland Courtney. He plays both ways for the Millikan Rams. He's a big man. a big boy. Courtney is 6'1", 304 pounds. He also is an offensive center for the Rams.
First down and 10. Football at the 44-yard line for the Saints. 4:45 left in the first half. Camarillo to run. Camarillo dropped in the backfield on a fine defensive play by number 80. Was it 85?
I think it was 86.
It was 95, John Flynn.
This was a run of the whole way, but Flynn would have none of it.
That's 95, John Flynn. I thought it was 85, but yeah, John Flynn with a nice play. That is a loss of 2 for Camarillo.
This tremendous camera work by our Ed Dot Sports camera crew. We get all of the action.
4:05 left in the first half now as the clock continues to tick and may become an issue for the Saints. Wouldn't they like that problem? As Camarillo again has nowhere to go and he gets pummeled to the ground.
It looked like a busted play from here.
Doug Stewart in on the tackle with one of his mates. Where will they get forward progress to? Previous loss of 1 and now a loss of 5. So 2 negative rushing plays for Camarillo on the last couple tries. Clock down at 3.5 left.
Now it's 3rd and long for the Saints. They'll probably go from the shotgun and give Camarillo a chance to look over the field and decide whether he's going to throw or run. Well, that shows you how much I know. They're starting at the wishbone.
3rd and 16 for the Saints. Fake. Camarillo to throw. Nobody open. Camarillo buys some time, throws the football, completes it, and the tackle made shy of the first down.
Well, he goes to a play action pass from the wishbone, freezes the linebackers and safeties, and he finds a receiver out in the flat over there for a first down. Nice execution.
No, not a first down. It was short.
Oh, it's short of a first down. Oh, there was 3rd and 15.
Pass was complete to Jared Miller. That is, in fact, the first completion in a while for Camarillo. Good for 13 yards, but he had missed on his last 5 attempts. He's now 3 out of 10 for 33 yards.
His goal is 23 touchdowns, he said at the beginning of the season, and 1,947 yards, which is a school record in passing.
Well, he better get some passing numbers against somebody else because he doesn't have anything going here. Give was to Torres, and he fumbled the football on 4th and 6. And so that play is going to be a bust and be a first down for the Rams.
Well, here it is. It was a nice handoff, and Torres just lost the handle. He was fortunate to get it back.
And you can give Torres a pickup of 1 on the play even. But that's about it, but they needed 6. Well, the Rams get the football. Not much time left on the clock, 2:16. But the way they've been scoring on their last couple series, that might be enough. Jason Leggett with a big run.
We're seeing a team that's very speedy in the Rams. In fact, they're much more speedier than the Saints, and they're getting outside, and they're running inside. They're just doing whatever they want to do against the St. Anthony Saints.
Pickup of 25 for Leggett. 25-yard pickup. He now has 143 yards rushing on 9 carries. That was his first carry of this second quarter rather. This is Acosta. Acosta wrapped up as he tried to cross the 35-yard line, a pickup of 3. Big hit.
San Miguel Guillermo
San Miguel.
Guillermo San Miguel is the tackler, and he came up with a big hit.
3 yards on the play, 47 total now for Acosta. Actually, they'll give him only 1 on the play, so make it 45 yards now rushing. Fumble, football's loose, but Leggett got it back. Loss of a yard on the play. This is Radford at quarterback, and Radford does not get any yardage on his scramble. Loss of a yard, and so that'll bring up 4th down and 11.
Dave Radford.
Well, that's David Radford.
Yes.
Dave Radford sitting in the row right in front of us.
He certainly is, and David Radford used to coach here.
Now,
He's an expert in military history.
Now, this is an incredible attempt, a 56-yard attempt coming up for Sontag. 56 yards on the try. The kick, high enough. It's long enough. Get out of here. No good. Oh, my. I thought it was good. Wide right. But it had the distance. My goodness.
Adam Sontag is going to make himself a scholarship player athlete, a student athlete, with his leg. I mean, that was long enough. It just was wide to the left. What a weapon the Rams have in him.
That was impressive. What a kick. And it didn't look like it was wide right by much. Let's take a look at this replay. What's it going to show? Oh, just a little late on the camera shot. Otherwise, that was pretty impressive. So the Saints get it back, 1st down and 10 from the 20-yard line with 22 ticks left on the first half clock. Of course, you want to try that kick. You know that Sontag could kick it, could punt it out of the end zone. Might as well take a try at 3 points. Drop back by Camarillo. Camarillo goes down on the sack.
Well, he held the ball too long, and that was one of the things that the Saints staff was saying when I went to visit him the other day, is that Camarillo is holding the football a little bit too long. He needs to get rid of it more or decide what he's going to do, whether he's going to run or pass. And that time was an example of that.
First sack. And have we reached the end of the first half? Because the flag came down just as we were reaching the end of that first half. First sack for the Rams, loss of 9 on the play. And the rain starts to come down as we've reached the end of the first half. But there is one play left with no time left on the clock. The clock cannot end on a defensive penalty. The half cannot end on a defensive penalty. Although, it didn't appear there was any penalty that was called. So Camarillo dropping back. He's in his own end zone. He's able to scramble forward. Maybe he just realized that that would be a bad thing. A loss of 4, another sack for the Rams, and we have reached the end of the first half.
Well, go ahead, Willie. I'm sorry. It's just simple. The Saints will have to tackle better. And the Rams are doing just about everything right from both from an offensive and defensive standpoint, except for one drive when they could not contain Eric Camarillo.
Stay tuned for our Ed Dot Sports Halftime Show with our halftime anchors, Alex Aguirre and James Milo, next.
Something different, Southern California football. It's never happened before for Hometown TV. Yeah, weather like in the Midwest and back east. And all I can tell you is at halftime of this game between the Millikan Rams and the St. Anthony Saints, well, the score, Millikan 29, St. Anthony 6, and there isn't a dry eye in the house. The wet conditions did nothing to dampen the spirits of Ranford. Go Millikan!
It's great. It is so much better than last. Millikan's number 1 and we're undefeated. Woo! I think they're great. Yeah, go Rams! Woo!
Millikan's leader, star running back Paul Ear, out with an injury, is looking forward to getting back real soon.
It's a little minor sprain injury to my right knee. I should be back probably next week or the week after that. The reason I'm not playing, I'm trying to get it 100% and get ready for the Moore League.
Paul feels positive about his team's future.
But I wish I could go out there and play, but there's nothing I could do. I know that I have confidence in the team, and, you know, we got this game. You know, they out there playing hard, so they don't really need me right now.
Hi, folks. Welcome back to our Ed Dot Sports Game of the Week. Just the start of the third quarter. And while we were gone, there was a sudden downpour of rain.
A torrential downpour.
Kind of like that Millikan offense in the first quarter, right?
It certainly was. It rained 29 points on the Saints in 24 minutes.
And then it rained about 3 inches on the rest of us at halftime. But the rain has already had a effect on the game, and the answer back to the truck is yes. But the rain has already had an effect on the game because the opening kickoff by Sontag went out of bounds. His last 3 or 4 kicks have gone into the end zone for touchbacks, and that's the first errant kick we've seen in this ball game by Sontag. And you've got to assume that the rain had a little bit to do with it.
Well, the ball will probably be slippery. We may see some fumbles here as we look at the game attempting to get started here.
An ugly football game, just what we were hoping for, right?
Well, it's all mud and guts down there, and that's the way most offensive linemen like it.
Waiting for the fog to set in, too. 29-6, the score. First play from scrimmage is a running play to Alicio Torres that picks up just a yard.
Well, we might hear names like Hilgenberg and the Fog and the Minnesota Vikings and, you know, John Madden in the mud and all that kind of stuff.
We'll upgrade that to a pickup of 3 for Alicio Torres.
Tell them about the halftime show. The reason we didn't have one is that it was rained out.
Now, part of our mission is to not only bring you the game coverage, but to bring you the halftime activities as well. But the only halftime activity you would have seen was the band making a beeline off the field as the skies opened up and brought the rain down.
Well, this is Southern California. Back in Wisconsin, they would have done it anyway. So we're kind of spoiled out here. With a little rain, everybody runs for cover.
Francisco Torres picks up a couple. It's 3rd down and 5 for the Saints. And as if things weren't precarious enough for the Saints, now they've got to deal with inclement weather and trying to get 23 points on the board just to tie.
Well, the wetness helps the offense more than it does the defense. The offense knows where it's going, so that might help Eric Camarillo and company.
Wishbone, the look for the Saints. And that's a nice run by, I believe that was Francisco Torres running for first down yardage. Or that was Alicio Torres. Number 1, not 21, but still a pickup of 8 for Torres and a first down.
Alicio Torres was an all-league performer last year.
Pickup of 8 for Torres. He now has 14 yards on 3 carries.
Not only do the Saints have to get something going offensively, they'll have to learn how to line up and tackle right in order to get back in this football game.
And I noticed that Dave Radford's moved right back in front of us again.
Oh, he's an old football coach. He doesn't mind this rain.
A little rain didn't stop him.
This reminds him of the Battle of the Bulge or something.
Alicio Torres with the football picks up a yard. Just about 10 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. As you see the clock in the lower right-hand corner of your screen, I'm Willie Padilla, along with me, Errol Parker, the rest of our Ed. Sports team, along with some interested onlookers.
Yeah, I almost said, get away, kid, you bother me. You have a couple of young kids up here and want to be broadcasters. You have to go through the training course.
Is this okay, so what's your name? Nolan Peralta? Well, Tony, we've got your son up here with us, and he apparently likes what you guys are doing because he's got a smile on his face.
Well, I'm sure the Saints coaching staff didn't like that last play, speaking of likeness. The illegal procedure on the part of the Saints, obviously. And they can ill afford penalties.
So a 2nd down and 9 will turn into a 2nd and 14. As you mentioned, they can ill afford penalties that will move them further back. And that was actually a pretty nice mark off. Looked like they marked off 4 instead of 5. It goes, looks like 2nd and 13 instead of 14. 2nd and 14 for the Saints. 1 man in the backfield along with Camarillo, the quarterback. And it is a trap. Tackle made at midfield. Carrying the football for the Saints was Adelfo Sarami, and Sarami hasn't carried the football in quite a while.
Now, the Saints came in this game really thinking that they could run off the Rams. So far, they have not run very effectively. They've gotten any money on passing. The only money they do have, the 6 points they have come from pass plays.
3rd down and 7. Football right at midfield. The Saints need to get to the 43. The give goes to Sarami, and Sarami is down after a pickup of just a couple.
Eric Camarillo did the whirly bird at quarterback, just whirled and gave it to the halfback off left tackle. Didn't get much.
So that'll bring up 4th down and 6.
May I have your attention, please? During the rain, a bunch of people came up to the booth, and somebody brought some Dodger tickets. Tell me about the Dodger tickets.
8 minutes and 10 seconds left. The PA announcer having fun with the audience.
Just trying to make sure that they're listening to him.
Well, from that reaction, it sounds like they are.
Yeah.
4th down, back to punt is Camarillo. He has faked it once before. There's a man in motion. That is Green. Kind of an odd punting configuration. Straight on punt to Vaughn. Vaughn gets drilled at the knees by Green, and a return of 10 ends quickly.
Brandon Green made a nice open field tackle on that play.
So it'll be 1st down and 10 for the Rams as Millikan gets the football for the first time.
Watch this nice open field tackle. Take the legs right from under him. That's the way tackling is taught, textbook style.
I feel like I should sit down and get out of the way. We've got all. Are these all Peraltas? 3? 3 and Mom? Acosta with the football. Nice pickup, as I do the math, 17 yards.
Not only are the Saints not tackling well, they're really not lining up well. They're not in a position to make a good tackle, and the Rams are taking full advantage of it.
Okay, everybody wave back here. These are the Peralta kids that are with us. As the give goes to Leggett, who had a career first half, and he picks up another 8. So Acosta now with 65 yards rushing on 12 carries. Leggett at another 8. He's got 150 yards on 11 carries. Second down and a couple. Football inside Saint territory at the 47-yard line. As the give goes to Acosta. If he had stayed on his feet, he was out of here. But instead, he got tripped up at about the 40. And they'll mark him down at about the 36. Nevertheless, a pickup of 11.
That was Brandon Green at his safety position coming up and making the tackle. He was the most valuable player, Willie, as we see him make the tackle on the JV team last year. He also loves to play basketball and hang out with his friends, something that you do every day, Willie, instead of going to work.
Well, this is work.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
1st down and 10 for the Rams. Football at the 36 now. As the give goes to Zhang, and Zhang with another 8 yards. Rams are just carving into him like a hot knife through butter.
Well, or as Dave Radford would say, as Sherman went through Georgia during the Civil War. They're just running right through the state. Nothing the Saints can do to stop this, or nothing they've done to stop it. The Rams have had their way.
South couldn't do much to stop Sherman either.
Certainly. You notice no streets are named after Sherman in Georgia.
That's right. The give goes up the middle, 1st down yardage. Carrying it is Zhang. Zhang picks up another 4. Zhang now with 57 yards on 6 carries. Take a look at the offense for the Rams. 76 yards for Acosta on the ground on 13 carries, 150 for Leggett on 11 carries, 57 for Zhang on 6 carries.
Well, it looks like the Rams may go 3-0, and that will be a very good start for the Rams if they can keep it going here in the 3rd and 4th quarter.
Acosta picking his holes. He gets another 7. Huge gaping holes for the Rams now. Great work by their offensive line. You know, I mentioned offensively their running game. How about Martinez? He's only thrown 2 passes for 46 yards.
Yeah.
Coach, let me throw the ball.
Well, when you're keeping it on the ground as effectively as they're doing, why not stay with a good thing?
Nolan, I'm just kidding. As the give goes to Leggett. Leggett still on his feet, breaks the tackle. Gets to the 5-yard line. My, what a run. So a pickup of 10 and another 1st down.
This misdirection play, the guards are leading at 71-58 for the Rams. Leggett showing some nice footwork here, Willie, and bounces to the outside. Now, number 3, Eric Camarillo comes up with a tackle, a touchdown-saving tackle on that play.
A lot of work for Camarillo. He's quarterbacking. He's saving touchdowns. Acosta dives. He's in. Touchdown. 4-yard touchdown run for Acosta, his second score of the game.
Well, I'm going to go back and interview the Millikan Rams staff as I did yesterday, and they were gloomy after the first 2 wins, but they're looking very impressive tonight, and they'll probably have something to pick and save to tell me if I go back and interview them. But they have to be impressed with the way they're executing.
Sontag on for the point after. It's a fake. I don't think it was designed that way. And the throw is picked off, and so the point after is no good. It was bobbled. The snap was bobbled by Alberto Martinez, but he did a good job of ad-libbing, at least momentarily. Got in trouble, though, and the ball was picked, so the point after no good. But the score, 35-6 in favor of the Rams. We'll be back with more coverage in a moment as the Rams now lead it by 29. Hi, folks. Welcome back to our Ed Dot Sports Game of the Week. I'm Willie Padilla, along with me, Errol Parker, the rest of our Ed Dot Sports team. Kayla Nolan and Davis Peralta are with us. Mrs. Peralta's with us. The family's safe, Tony, despite the torrential downpour. So the kickoff into the end zone, another touchback, and the Saints will begin at the 20-yard line. Tony Peralta has done a great job fostering this Ram football program. He's done a pretty good job fostering his own family, too.
Well, speaking of his football coaching, Willie, he has done a fantastic job. And he has been at this school in good times and bad in this program. A couple of years ago, he made the playoffs. But before that, he's had some tough seasons. But the administration has supported him very, very well, and it has paid off. They've apparently got off to a 3-0 start this season.
And if I'm not mistaken, played on a championship team back from the late 70s. 77 or 79, they won a CIF title, and Peralta was on that team.
Coached by Dave Radford and company.
Pickup of 14 by Francisco Torres.
Dick DeHaven, also a coach over there at that time, or the head coach over Dick DeHaven.
I was still in high school back in the 70s, so I really can't.
But you had a brain to remember certain things like that, Willie. You know, here we go again, our 13th season talking about my age.
I won't talk. 4:33 left.
You already have.
Okay, well, why stop now? Bad pitch to Alicio Torres, and it'll be a loss of 10 for the Saints, as Camarillo just threw it right behind him. You don't want to pitch it behind your back, or behind his back for that matter. That's exactly what happened, but the fumble recovered by the Saints. Loss of 10 on the play. Second down 20. As big run by the fullback, Alfredo Cerami gets not only the 10 from the fumble back, but an additional 6-yard line. So a pickup of 16. Adolfo Cerami with 29 yards rushing now.
He is a transfer from Paramount High School, your alma mater.
That I graduated back in 1979. Thank you very much.
That's right. And he was at St. Anthony before he transferred, but now he's back. Got his 2 front teeth knocked out here earlier in the season.
So does that mean all he wants for Christmas is
That's all he wants for Christmas is his 2 front teeth. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Cerami gets first down yardage. Boy, the sticks are all wrong. They had first down and 3, which was wrong, but it is a first down and 10 now. So a pickup of 4 on the play. Cerami now with 33 yards rushing on 5 carries.
Well, this is the best rushing drive the Saints have had all night. They've really passed fairly well, at least on one series to score, and they have not run the football very well, but now things are picking up a little bit for them.
Big hit as Torres runs the football and just gets drilled. Meanwhile, we have an interview down on the field. Let's go to it.
Hi, we're down here with Amy Duncan, head equipment manager for the Millikan Rams football team. Amy, tell me, how has the rain affected the way you run things down here on the field?
Well, we just got to keep the balls dry and the guys encouraged. It really hasn't brought us down any. I think it's actually encouraged the guys a lot more. We just got to clean off cleats with little sticks. That's about it.
Great. Thank you very much, Amy. Back to you, Willie and Errol.
James Milo for that on-field interview. Well, the Saints making a little yardage on the ground. This time it's Alicio Torres. He picks up 6. That'll set up 3rd down and 1.
Well, the Saints are sticking with the game plan they've had the last couple of games, and that is running the football more than they're passing. And thus far, they've gotten themselves some positive yardage in this particular drive, but it's very, very time-consuming.
Football at the 45. The Saints need to go to the 44. It's the veer as Camarillo calls his own number and picks up 1st down yardage, a pickup of 6. Camarillo now with 78 yards rushing, but that is his first carry of this second half. 1:12 left in the 3rd quarter as the clock moving actually much quicker than it did in that first half when it seemed very long as the Rams were getting big chunks of yardage and putting points on the board at will, it seemed. 1st down and 10. Inside a minute left in the 3rd. Camarillo straight drop back. Has a man. Flag's going to come out. It is.
Well, I don't know if I like that call, Willie.
Okay.
Not that anybody cares. But let's see the replay of it. It may have been pass interference, but I thought it was just incidental contact.
Well, Diego Algarin, I think they're going to call a defensive hold as opposed to pass interference. Let's see.
Let's take a look at it, Willie, over here on the replay here.
It is pass interference.
Well, a good acting job by number 4,
Number 4 for the Saints.
Saints is Alberto No, excuse me. I'm looking at the Ram roster there. Number 4 is who?
Well, there is no number 4. It's number 40. That would be Gandia. 440. 1st down and 10. As the give goes to Sarami, picks up 5. Well, I don't know if this is the Rams' prevent defense, but it's not preventing much. Never been a fan of those prevent defenses, and it might help chew up the clock, which would be just fine, I'm sure, for the Rams.
Well, mentally for the Saints, they really need to score. This game is probably out of reach for them, but this is a nice drive. If they can score at the end of it, it would be nice for them psychologically.
Alicio Torres drilled right at the line of scrimmage, so on 2nd and 5, he gains nothing, and that'll be the final play of the 3rd quarter. So the give to Alicio Torres, he is wrapped up right at the line. Nice defensive play for the Rams by Julian Diaz, and that is it in the 3rd. So the score now 35-6 in favor of the Rams. We'll step aside and we'll be back with the 4th quarter in just a few moments. Remember that education lasts a lifetime. If you're interested in continuing the educational process, you can't do better than the Long Beach School for Adults, located at 3701 East Willow, just east of Redondo in Long Beach. A very positive lesson for the Peralta children.
You've done that very well, Mr. Padilla, as usual.
Yes, I spent a lot of time watching teachers, not learning much, but watching teachers at least.
Well, it's apparent you haven't learned much, but you've hung in there.
I got another parent to take my son home, so I must have learned something. Because running around in the rain, it's like, obviously that didn't stop him. 3rd down and 5, as it is a fake. it's the fumble Ruski, and one of the linemen come out with it and does not get first down yardage, ending up with the football.
There it is again, Willie. It's just a little inside handoff there to the lineman.
It's
tackle
Taliuli.
eligible.
It's Taliuli.
His brother Junior is down the road at Veterans Stadium playing the Santa Barbara Gauchos. He's a member of the Long Beach Poly High School Jackrabbits. They're going after their third victory.
So Taliuli picks up 2. Taliuli a pickup of 2. As our engineer forces me to play with the electrical power. As the give to Sarami, no gain. It'll be first down for the Rams. As you mentioned, the Saints needed to come up with something. I don't know if it's the side of the field that they're on, but the Saints went nowhere once they changed quarters.
And they didn't try to pass the ball on third down into the end zone or something, so they had to give the ball up on downs. Apparently, they're going to work on their running game. Down by 29 points. Looking forward to next week, or planning for next week already.
Well, the Rams have it first down and 10 as David Radford takes over at quarterback. And we're going to see a whole new lineup for the Millikan Rams as Larry Parker carries that time for the Rams. You know, and I only printed a couple sheets for stats. I'm going to have to go pretty deep on this one.
Well, the Rams apparently will start off 3-0 in this 2000 season.
So Parker, the last carry. The give this time to Seward Ken. Ken with a big hole. Ken in a foot race. He's down at the 32-yard line. A pickup of 50. I guess I did listen to some teachers, huh?
This has to be very, very disappointing for the Saints. They were looking forward to this football game. They really wanted the Rams in the worst way. They got them, and they're getting trounced here early in the fourth quarter.
That's like Marie Antoinette looking forward to, you know. The give goes to Parker. Parker will pick up another 5. Ken with a 50-yard pickup on his first carry of the game. That works out for a nifty little average of 50 yards per carry. That's 13 yards on 2 carries now for Parker. Parker in motion. Radford gives it to, is that Acosta still in the ball game? That is Acosta. And Acosta gets to the 15, a pickup of 9. Acosta now with 96 yards rushing. First down and 10 for the Rams. Salting this one away. Not only are they working the clock, but they're working the scoreboard. It is Acosta again. Acosta inside the 10-yard line, a pickup of 6. He now has over 100 yards in the ball game. 102 for Acosta. It's all Millikan, 35-6, on the verge of scoring again.
Practically from the beginning of the ball game, Millikan has dominated this football game, primarily on the ground.
They have not punted. They've had one field goal attempt that was wide right, a 56-yarder, as into the end zone for a touchdown is Seward Ken as he scores from 8 yards out. Ken, 58 yards on 2 carries and a touchdown. Big night for all the running backs on the Millikan Rams. .8:10 left, and it's now 41-6 Adam Sontag in to try the point after. To hold is Martinez. Heavy rush. Line drive kick, but it's still good. And there's going to be a roughing the kicker. Take a look at Sontag. He's down on his wallet. He's signaling it good. Well, I don't know if he was on his wallet, but 8:10 left. Well, that gets a chuckle out of the PA announcer and his spotter.
Next week, the Cabrillo Jaguars will play the Bellflower, and I don't know
the Buccaneers.
The Buccaneers.
I'll tell you a funny story one day when about the Buccaneers. Because remember, when I went to Paramount, Bellflower was our arch rival, and we had a nice little cheer for the Buccaneers that I
cannot say on the air, obviously.
It earned the baseball team a lot of laps when used at a rather fortuitous time during a basketball game.
Well, the Cabrillo Jaguars are an improved program from last year when they first started playing football.
Now, they just had a roughing the kicker call. Are they going to mark it off on the kickoff and allow Sontag to kick from St. Anthony territory? I mean, he's already kicking it into the end zone. He might be able to get this through the uprights.
5, 1, 8, 2, 3, 9, 6, 5, 1, 8, 2.
No, it looks like Sontag will be kicking from the 40. As it is the Torres boys back to receive, Francisco Torres and Alicio Torres, number 21 and 1 respectively. 42-6, 36-point lead for the Rams. Line drive kick, and it's going to go right by Francisco Torres into the end zone. Well, it still works the same. So it'll be first down and 10 from the 20. Only one time has a kickoff by Sontag not been a touchback, and it was the opening kickoff of the second half when it went out of bounds at about the 3-yard line. Rain may have had something to do with that, the footing not so secure. It did not rain at all during the first half, but it came down in buckets at halftime. So hard that the band, which was going on the field for the halftime show, bailed before they could get a note out of their instruments. That's the shortest halftime show I've ever seen. 8:10 to go in the ball game. Camarillo still trying to gun his team back on some drives here, but he's going to just get.
You see, in that particular situation, well, he should have thrown the football. I mean, even if he could have thrown it away, he should have thrown it. Now he took a sack and a loss, and that's one of the things that the coaching staff of the Saints have been saying about Camarillo. He just needs to throw the football.
Well, now it eludes me which quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers it was that shouldn't have taken a sack. Instead, his team couldn't get the field goal team on. Now, and that guy's an NFL player, a pro football player. You know, these high school players are not necessarily as well-schooled as these pro guys should be, and they're still making that same mistake. You know, that's a tough decision. He doesn't want to throw it away, especially this deep in his own territory. I agree with you, but that's a hard thing to teach. Option, pitch to Alicio Torres, and when the Rams aren't bringing them down, they're going down of their own accord. Unfortunately for Alicio Torres, bad footing.
You know, sometimes some quarterbacks want their receivers to be absolutely open, and then you have some quarterbacks who drill it with 3 guys around them.
Yeah.
So, you know, 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other. It is a hard thing to teach when a guy wants to make something happen, especially when you're down by 36 points.
Right, he wants to make something happen, but not for the other team.
That's right.
You know, so maybe it's a good indecision, you might say. As it's third down and 15, the option goes to Francisco Torres. Great coverage by the Millikan defense as there's no gain on the play as Torres goes down. Nice convergence by the Millikan Ram defense as they did not allow much for the Saints. Fourth down and 12.
Well, we might see how good this Ram team will be next week. They play San Clemente, Willie. And you know down there in Orange County, San Clemente has a pretty good team.
Kicking it away from Acosta. He goes all the way to his right, able to field it. Has a little bit of a hole. That hole seals up in a hurry as he's brought down, but in St. Anthony territory, the Rams will have excellent field position as they begin this drive inside St. Anthony territory. You can see the hole that briefly opened up for Acosta.
Well, he did the right thing. He let that ball bounce right to him, which is something they should have done in the first half.
Earlier in the ball game, yes.
And he picked the pursuit went by him, and he picked up some nice yardage to put the Rams in pretty good field position.
I believe Dante Vaughn now in the lineup for the Rams at quarterback.
Well, Dante Vaughn was a starter for the first couple of games of the season. Didn't do that well, and he was replaced by Martinez, who led them to 2 victories in the second half of both ball games.
Vaughn to his left calls his own number, and Vaughn gets about 6.
Now, Dante is the most athletic between the 2 quarterbacks.
Or between the 3, because David
That's
Radford
right.
took the snaps on the previous drive.
Absolutely.
But sometimes being the most athletic causes you to think you can do too much.
Absolutely. Oh, I'm saying absolutely too much again, but you're absolutely right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, inevitably.
Second down and 5. Second down and 6. Vaughn again calling his own number.
He's a
nearly
fine runner.
loses the football, but he's dropped at the 17-yard line. Nice pickup as he gets 13 on that run. So 17 yards on the 2 carries.
Let's talk a little bit about the Moore League, Willie. We looked at the 4 of the 6 teams are 2-0, as we saw at the beginning of the broadcast, and the Rams look like they're going to be 3-0. We'll see how the Moore League fares. In years past, the Moore League teams have not fared well in the preseason.
But in the past, the teams that they've scheduled have been the Bishop of Mott's, the Mater Days. I mean, you've seen them play Los Alamitos, so that might have something to do with it as well. Although Jordan did play Dominguez, which is always a tough opponent, and that's usually an opponent that you see Long Beach Poly playing against.
That's right, and Poly went down to play Vista, which is a San Diego County CIF power, and barely came out there with a victory, and then they pounced on Banning after that. Lakewood beat Camarillo and Mayfair.
The give, touchdown. First carry of the ball game. And if our PA announcer doesn't have them, we don't have them.
Well, it's back to the drawing board as we see that touchdown right up the gut against St. Anthony's. It's back to the drawing board for the Saints.
That's Andre Pope who scores that one. Andre Pope, who is on the JV roster, scoring on a huge gaping hole. 1 carry, 17 yards. Boy, everyone's getting in on the act here. 48-6.
Sean, you guys come down to bring my box for me?
Flags down on the point after attempt. 4:02 left in the ball game. The Rams, and it's interesting, a few years ago, they were the ones low in numbers in terms of players on the field. You look at St. Anthony over there, with their players out on the field, they have very few players on their side of the bench, and you know that they've got to be gassed, the players that have been on the field throughout this entire ball game.
Well,
guys like Eric Camarillo, who have quarterback, played defensive back, been punter, all that. Point after is good.
Well, they only suited up 26 players for this game, St. Anthony. They had a few players that couldn't play because of injuries and other reasons, so they really only have about 28 players.
We'll take a break, back with the conclusion of our opening game of the 2000 season in just a moment. 49-6, Millikan. Hi, folks. Welcome back to Red Dot Sports Game of the Week. 49-6, Millikan Rams. Have we ever said 49 to anything, Millikan Rams?
We may have in 13 years that we've been together, but 3 years with Ed Dot Sports Game of the Week, we may not have said that. But tonight we are 49-6 in favor of the Millikan Rams. There it again. I said it again. They're having a big night.
And it's got to be very gratifying for the head coach, Tony Peralta. He's got to be pleased with the way his kids are playing. The numbers are up. They're going to be 3-0, and this has got to be a good feeling for Coach Peralta.
Certainly has to be for him and his staff. Now, they're going to go down to San Clemente next week, and they'll see what type of football team they really have. I think defeating the Warren Bears was pretty good. Cabrillo is an improving program. They defeated them soundly, and they're defeating the St. Anthony Saints tonight. But the big test in the preseason will be San Clemente down in that league with Mater Dei and Santa Margarita.
South Coast?
South Coast League, yes.
They've had some changes in the different leagues that the private schools are in. In fact, private schools now in the public school leagues for a little bit of a change.
But, Willie, there's going to be a big game at Edison Field tomorrow.
Oh, you've got Concord de La Salle and Mater Dei getting together.
That should be a good one. Concord de La Salle is the #1 team in the nation. And, you know, those Mater Dei Saints, I'm going to tell you.
Mater Dei Monarchs?
Mater Dei Monarchs, excuse me.
Them too.
Them too. But they are tough. And even they lost 21-14 last year. No, that was a couple of years ago, but they got dubbed last year.
Right.
And they came back and tied the CIF championship. So, you know, they'll have those guys ready.
And that's the thing about that program. They love the big game atmosphere, and they always seem to play well when the cameras are on.
Yeah,
you know,
and
Bruce
when they're off, too. I mean, they play – well, of course, they didn't play that well last week. I mean,
but Bruce Rawlinson, you know, I've interviewed him at halftime of games and things like that, and he is all about the big game.
Well, it'll probably be a trilogy +1 with the Long Beach Poly Jackrabbits and the Mater Dei Monarchs maybe meeting in the CIF Division I championship this year, but a lot of other teams will have a lot to say about that.
The trilogy, huh?
+1.
+1. The quadrology?
Something like that.
First down and 10 from midfield as Alicio Torres gets to the corner and picks up 15.
Well, there's no quit in these St. Anthony Saints.
Unfortunately for them, they had a big drive going last time and came up without scoring any points.
Nice blocking up front. And he races toward the sidelines, and the safety drives him out of bounds. But despite the score, St. Anthony is still really playing hard. Coach Jeff Turley, in his second year as head coach over there, will not let his guys quit.
Take a look at what the conditions have done to the footwear.
Now, that's real football right there. Cleats, muddy.
That's your kicker, too. Nice move by Torres. He gets to the outside. He's at the 10. Touchdown.
Good. I like it. You know, you want to see these guys have some fun out there and score and not quit. And as a result, as we see a nice burst of speed right through that hole there, Willie, and it's a foot race, and he wins it.
Well, if you look down on the field and you look at the Millikan Rams that are out there on the field playing, there's not a whole lot of varsity helmets out there. You know, the varsity helmets have the M on them. The entire gold helmet is a JV helmet, and that's the JV team out there. And that's why they look maybe a step slow when Alicio Torres turned that corner.
Good point. Nonetheless, it's 6 points.
Yeah, and thank you. I was just handed the JV roster, too. I'm probably going to need it now. 2:44 left in the ball game. Point after attempt. It is a fake 2-point conversion, and it is good. And nifty little move by the Saints. As Ralph Ramirez, the holder, throws to Romel Castanedo, scores a 2-pointer. Well, Alicio Torres with a nice ball game on 9 carries, 74 yards. There has not been much passing of the football. I'm surprised it's actually as late as it is. Meanwhile, back to reality. If you haven't yet visited the Friday Film Forum, you're missing one of life's great pleasures. You get to view a classic film as it was meant to be seen on the big screen with other film fans.
The Film Forum is presented by the Long Beach School for Adults every Friday night in their auditorium at 3701 East Redondo.
This year, we're going to play a trivia game with all our viewers to guess which movie will be shown at the Film Forum next Friday night.
Okay, how does it work?
just like this. On September 29th, the Film Forum features stars Louis Calhern, Sam Jaffe, Sterling Hayden, and a very young Marilyn Monroe. Can you guess the picture?
Let me get my film encyclopedia.
That won't work as we get Dante Vaughn tackled at the 40. Let me finish this. That won't work because you're not eligible to win, but someone in our viewing audience can win a $20 gift certificate to Buono's Pizza if they can guess which movie we're talking about. Just email your answer to ed.sports@lbusd.k12.ca.us.
They could go for pizza before they go to the Friday Film Forum.
You are correct, Pastrami Breath, but they have to be the first one to answer the question. The first person to email their answer wins the Buono's Pizza. And at the Friday Film Forum, you get cartoons, short subjects, and interesting discussion with other film fans like yourself, all for only $1.
Now, you put in Pastrami Breath, but I'll continue. Wow, it sounds like a good value.
It certainly is. As we're back to live action, I keep leaning on our public address announcer as the give goes to Delvon Marjoram, and Marjoram picks up a couple. Don't forget, you want to see the mystery movie on September 29th at the Friday Film Forum in Long Beach School for Adults Auditorium at 3701 East Willow, just east of Redondo.
Each program begins at 7 p.m., Willie.
Big hole with, there go my stats. As Steve Henderson, our public address announcer, is trying to help me here. And now they're going with a hurry-up offense. You're killing me. The give to number 23, Lyseth Pores. The last runner was Sergio Lopez. So Marjoram with 2. Lopez with 7. And Pores with 4. And I have no idea. That was Pores again. He picked another 4.
We're going to do some girls volleyball this year. A couple of girls volleyball games that we will do, and that will be a different experience for us.
It will be exciting. That's for sure, especially since the Moore League is playing real well this year. The give goes to Keith Lewis. Lewis gets drilled in the backfield for a loss of yardage. Unfortunately for Lewis, as the game is coming to a close, he may be the only running back with a negative yardage. Lewis with -3. Time is going to tick away as this ball game is over. 49-14, the Millikan Rams defeat the St. Anthony Saints.
Well, from the beginning, they took it to the Saints. They did it with passing, but primarily they did it with running from their double wing tee. And the Saints really could not figure out all game how to defend it, Willie.
We'll be back to wrap it up in a moment. Stay with us. We're wrapping it right now. 49-14, the final. Your final thoughts, Errol?
My final thoughts is the Millikan Rams are 3-0, and they are one of the best teams in the Moore League. It's going to be a tussle. We're going to come next week with Bellflower and Cabrillo and see how well Cabrillo is.
Congratulations to Tony Peralta. His Rams are 3-0 and doing well. My name's Willie Padilla. For Errol Parker, for the rest of the Peralta clan, and for our Ed Dot Sports team, headed up our producer-director, Ray Sharp. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week right here on our Ed Dot Sports Game of the Week.
On this night, neither the Saints nor rain were able to slow down the Millikan Rams as they powered their way to a 49-14 victory over St. Anthony's behind Jason Leggett's 135 yards and 3 TDs.
You know, Eddie, I know that this is the first time that both these teams have met, And according to the score, it might be the last.
You know, I hope not, Scott, because first of all, you're talking about a Division I school, Millikan, Division 12, St. Anthony's. Division I schools, they've got thousands of students to pool their athletes from. St. Anthony's has a little bit over 300. So I look at it, Millikan is much improved, but St. Anthony's in Division 12, I think they're going to have a good year.